Yo, real quick. Spirit just told me it's not change. He's not trying to change you. He's not trying to change you. It's called standards, right? When you first came into the relationship, y'all had. I just watched a video where sis was like, tell a story like Risa Tisa. And she's saying almost every woman has a story where they just accepted anything because they were lonely. We all got those stories. Risa done told a 50-hour version. Nobody else has to tell their story because Risa told it for us. But anyway, we all come into relationships with rock bottom standards. Whatever our bottom standards are, for the highest our standards of self can go, we all come in at rock bottom because someone can only enter our space because they're within our parameter of standards. But because if someone's beneath our standards, they can't even get in, right? So a person at least has to meet your standards, right? Not exceed your standards, meet your standards. They can't necessarily exceed your standards because you don't know how high your standards can go. You know, how high can you go? I used to accept a lot. There was this guy. Man, my year 14 was wild. My year 14 was a movie in itself. Year 42 ain't slacking either. Year 41 was given too. Like, every year is a movie. But year 14 was a movie. I'm in this hotel room with my friend. We hook up with some guys because, you know, you got a friend for a friend. Well, I got the friend for the friend. And, you know, we did what we did because I had no value for self. Judge yourself. Raise your daughters better. And your sons. Boom. Raise your sons better. Ooh, caught myself. Raise your sons better. Raise these little boys into men who value their body. I love my son, Andre, because I was cleaning the room the other day and found a condom. I was like, yes. He is 24, about to be 25, and has not had a baby scare that we're aware of.
So that's how old are y'all?
And so, raise your sons better.
Hey.
Anyway, please stop. Anyway, so we're in this hotel room, and this is right when Tupac's I Ain't Mad At You came out. Change? Yeah. I know it's good for any of us. Do your thing, boy. I ain't mad at you, right? Ha, that's funny. I'm telling this story, and the song's about change. Anyway, it was I Ain't Mad At You. That was everybody's jam, right? Everybody loves I Ain't Mad At You. Well, this guy that I was with, everybody sleep. And this was back when they had CD players. So he had this CD player playing that song on loop. I Ain't Mad At You, over and over and over again. I get up in the middle of the night, turn it off, go get back into bed. He gets up in the middle of the night. No, he gets up immediately after me, goes and turns it back on, and gets back into bed. I will give him the credit that he did not say and go into a huge frenzy because clearly he was enjoying the song. And I should have just let his song play. If we had a working, functioning relationship, I could say, hey, babe, you know, can we let that loop maybe 5 more times and then turn it off? And that way he gets to let it loop, get your feel, and then turn it off so people could go to sleep. But we didn't have a working relationship. We just met. And so I was like, did everybody fall asleep and I'm the only one stuck listening to I Ain't Mad At You on loop? So I go and turn it off. And he gets up silently, goes and turns it back on. And I was like, I bet you he is a man today. Just like I was a woman today who takes it upon herself to do things without asking anybody in the room. I bet you he is a man today that is very passive aggressive in his relationships. But anyway, that's not why I'm telling the story. Everybody has their standards of self, and they allow certain people to enter into that space at bottom rung simply because we found someone who is within the realm of our standards. They don't have to exceed our standards. You just met my standards. Hey, come here, girl. You want a girlfriend? You know, so we're all Risa Tisa out here in these streets. But at some point in that relationship, because your standards are a relationship, not just to be fucked, how many just want to have made it through the relationship standards because our standards aren't actually matching our desires? Like, our desires are here and our standards are right down here, and we don't want to admit that to ourselves. But this is like the umpteenth nigga that just fucked you or dumped you. 3 weeks, 3 months, maybe. Then he's gone. That keeps happening. Could you keep fucking? Stop fucking. Anyway, So at some point in forever, on the road to forever, right, you're going to have to reset standards. And because we're constantly evolving and changing, I got married at 36. My husband got married, 7 years older than that is 42. So we got married at a certain different mindset. I went from my single self, never married. He came from previously married to... But anyway, the point is that where I came into this relationship and where he came into this relationship, we had a certain level of standards. My husband let me in at his ground level, and I let him in at my ground level. You know, and not even. He exceeded my standards. I didn't know how to be treated. He taught me how to be treated. He's an excellent man. He just needed some refinement. But as he loved me to a space of elevating my standards, now I got to come back to this man that I love and say, hey, I can choose to divorce you, or I can choose to work with you to elevate you to my new level of standards, which is what we're doing, right? If you change or develop new standards in a relationship, you must go back to your spouse and say, hey, I've changed, or I have new standards of self. Let me fill you in because you're my person. If someone doesn't want you to be their person, they just get a divorce. You've changed. I don't want to change with you. And they're out. But instead of looking at your spouse trying to change you, looking at it as your spouse is trying to change you, why don't you look at it as you guys both had a set of standards when you first got together, and now that you're together, you're experiencing life, you're getting older, you're seeing what's going on with other couples. All these different things are happening. It's a whole new decade. Like, we went through a freaking... Pandemic, thank you. Have you ever been through a pandemic, and do you know anyone who's gone through a pandemic? That makes a relationship look completely different. So we've gone through a lot of things in our experience and in our life, and that causes our standards to shift. And if we can't come to our person and say, hey, this is how I'm moving today, and your person be like, okay, cool, let's go. Why are you being that way as their person? Do you want this or not? If you want this, be okay with change. Be okay with them elevating their standards. Whoever's music that is, just leave. Just leave.
I'm trying to turn it down.
Hey, you don't need to yell. Yelling amplifies the situation.
Yelling amplifies the situation. But somehow you haven't managed to turn... I don't know.
What did I just tell you though?
Yeah, didn't you just tell him to check his energy about when he got upset about something and you said you ain't got to do all that? I don't remember the language you used. You ain't got to do all that.
The language you're using today. So tone it down and get out. Because,
Yeah. Unfortunately, your Kindle wasn't doing what it needs to. But you could always do what you need to. Please leave my room. You come back later.
I don't leave. I don't want to be.
All right. Good. Good choice.